Quest, Alice, giving Ward and +1 lore to Lilo. Nani? This is the deck that we're playing today, and it's the Lilo Ramp Aggro. It's got lots of aggro. Lots of these cards are questing for 2, except for this one, but that's okay because he gives an extra lore when you play him down. This is Mr. Chip from the newest set, Azurite. See, it says when you play this character, chosen character gets +1 lore this turn. So it's basically like it's quested for 2 lore, but it's not. We got Lilo and Lilo. This is one of the best cards in all of Azurite C right now, or it's speculated to be so. But do we believe it? We're going to see this time. It says at the start of your turn, if this card is in your discard, you may play her and she enters play exerted. So you would have to pay the 2 ink with your ink. You'd have to know if that is the right move for you in that situation. And then this Hiram Flaversham is crazy. This is a new stat line that we got in this set. It is a 2-cost 0/2. So unlike the Pinocchio Simba or Olivia Flaversham, this isn't a 1/1 stat line. It's the 0/2 stat line, which is so good because like in drafts, there's that mosquito bite card that does 1 damage counter, and that usually takes out Olivia or Mr. Big or something. But this one can live through those things, and we can give it Ward. How are we going to give Mr. Hiram Flaversham Ward with the Alice card? This card, a little bit underrated if you ask me. Ahoy! When this character quests, another chosen character of yours gets +1 lore and gains Ward until the start of your next turn. We like the Ward keyword. We think it works well. We have the Shift Queen line, and that's lovely. And then we have the Chip and Dale shift line as well. We're running 2 copies of the Dale. We have 6 Dales and 3 Chips. Oh, there's another Chip right there. This one quests for 2. I haven't read this one yet. While you have a character named Dale in play, this character gains support. Don't mind if I do. Support, a little bit underrated too. And any of these cards can shift into the Chip and Dale card, which says during your turn, whenever a card is put in your inkwell, you may return a character card from your discard to your hand. Don't mind if I do. If I want to get back my favorite card, I can get my favorite card. If I want to get back Lilo from the discard, which would be a weird thing to do because you can just play her from the discard. But if I want to play her not tapped, I can do that. And then we have Sail the Azurite Sea for our action card. We have 4 of those action cards. We have 3 popsicles. Let us draw a card. And then this location, underrated. This location is what is good, especially in draft. I had like 18 ink on one of my matches. I still lost, but it was cool to see. It says at the start of your turn, if you have a character here, you may put the top card of your deck in your inkwell face down and exerted. So you have to have a character there. So you don't sometimes want to quest the character that you put there because you could put it there as early as turn 3 because you pay this down for 2. If you already have a character down, you move it for the 1, and then they're not going to have 8 strength to take out your location. You'll be able to get the ramp. And then this Tiana is a legendary from the new set. Let's read it together. Whenever a character of yours is challenged while this character is exerted, the challenging character gets -3 strength this turn unless the player plays 3 ink. That's a whole lot of ink to want to do some damage. Is it worth it? We don't know. And then Chernobog's here to close out games. We love seeing the Chernobog. There's also one more location that we got to read. During an opponent's turn, whenever a character is banished while here, gain 1 lore. So if we put some characters there, they take them out, we win the game. That's what it be like. This deck is $100 right now, and we are going to play it on Inktable by going to Menu, Export, Inktable. Play on Inktable.
Things that we learned in this video. Alice, Savvy Sailor, makes this deck work. I get to play 2 of her in the late game, and then she just pops off. Number 2, sure, Dale can quest, but I like to use him to challenge his stat line. He's invulnerable. No, he's pretty vulnerable. He gets banished too, but he takes out other characters with him. And number 3, Chip and Alice giving more lore ruins math. If your opponent's like, oh, they could only get 2 lore, and then boom, you play your Chip, or boom, you quest your Alice and give extra lore. It's so good they never see it coming. Ruin their math. Win the game.
We are going against a Robin Hood Sharpshooter deck, which is the one that can play actions for free, and it might not be the best thing for us. We got Dale, we got Tiana, we got Chip, 100 Acre Wood, doesn't get a lore, but if they're banished, I'm thinking that we get rid of these, looking for the Queen and looking for a Lilo. Or looking for, like, a reason to play Lilo, I guess. We get Hiram Flaversham. We're going to start off by inking a card and playing our Popsicle. Do we ink Sail the Azurite Sea? I think we ink a queen, and then we play our Popsicle. There we go. It gets to draw a card, replaces itself. It's 100 Acre Wood. Not the best. I'm not too big of a fan of that location. I like locations that get me lore. Am I right? They have Clarabelle on board. Lilo, what is their strength? It's a 1-2. Not bad. This costs 3. It looks like we are going to ink this because I'm not being a fan. And then we can play Hiram here because this only attacks for 1. So it looks like that's what we're doing. We're going for Hiram. And we're passing the turn. They're up at 2. They play Mulan, which I don't know how I feel about that. I don't know how I feel about Mulan being there. 3 is Dale. He enters play Exerted, and he could one-shot Mulan. That's a good deal. We will ink Dale. Play this. We're ramping up for next turn. It enters play Exerted, but that's okay. It's fine. And then we are going to quest for 3s, and they'd have to throw both of these into Hiram to do anything? To take them out? Looks like they're questing up to 2. They have the You Came Back action card. They ready it, gives it plus power, and then they take it out. By playing any action, it gives their Mulan plus power that turn. So good. So we are going to go ahead and take out the Mulan by challenging with our Mr. Dale. Say, get out of here, Mulan. We don't want any of your shifting shenanigans. We can ink a card, which might be the second queen. Bad news. We're doing weird things here. We're going to play Lilo, and then we're also going to play Sail the Azurite Sea. It's going to let us ink an additional card this turn. We are going to get to ink an additional card being the queen. That's 3 queens into the inkwell. Let me know in the comments if that's a terrible mistake. And then we'll pass the turn. Now we have a Lilo, we have a Dale, and we have 2 Alices that we could possibly play next turn. They have the Mulan, and we're scared about Mulan shifts. They play Thievery, we lose a lore, and they gain a lore. It's a good combo. We can ink our Tipo, and these have wards, so Mulan won't be able to choose it, so we will play that and play that. And then do we take out Clarabelle? I think the answer is yes, because we don't want the shift shenanigans. Clarabelle, we won't be able to deal with that. And then we need to quest with our Lilo. We gain 2 lore, and then we can go ahead and pass the turn. They're up at 5 ink. The Mulan shift is 5. They use a Dragonfire instead. It gets rid of our Dale. The Dale was our only threat that could take out stuff, and then that buffs their Mulan. At the start of our turn, we could play Lilo for free, which is what we're going to do. It enters play Exerted, and then we get a chip. We are going to get to play chip. It's going to give plus 1 lore this turn to Mulan. No. 2 Alice, because we can choose it. Our opponents can't choose it. This has ward. We can choose it. Whenever this character quests, another chosen character gets plus 1 lore and gains ward until the start of your next turn. So we will get to quest this. And then we could give ward to one of these people, but then we want to get the extra lore. So we're going to give ward to this character that already has ward and also give it plus 1 lore. And then we're going to quest this for big 3. Did it just go for another? Oh, and then we can give plus lore to Chip. And then we'll pass the turn. That's what we got going on. How much did that quest for? That's crazy. They're questing their Mulan. Good news. We get Sail the Azurite Sea, which will let us draw a card. So we are going to play Sail the Azurite Sea. Lets us draw a card. It's Popsicle. That lets us draw a card as well. We're going to play Popsicle. Lets us draw a card. It's Cheer Nabagity. And it looks like we have 1 character card in the discard. So we have about 7 ink for Chernabog. Looks like we can play it next turn. We are going to quest Alice. giving Ward and +1 lore to Lilo. And then we are going to quest Alice, giving Ward and +1 lore to Mr. What's his name? Chip, not Dale. And then we quest Lilo. She quests for 3. That's 17. And then this is going to quest for 2. Boom. That's all the way up to 19 lore right there. And then we pass the turn. We're pretty good. All of our characters have Ward. They quest their Robin Hood. They look at the top 4. It looks like they got along came Bruno. What's it called? We don't talk about Bruno, but all of our characters have Ward. So that, in fact, saved us. We can play our Flaversham and then quest our Alice for the big W. That's the aggros against maybe not the most meta-defining deck, but that's what it'd be like. Ooh, we get to give a lore to somebody. It's Lilo, and then that's it. We win the game. Thanks for watching. We put out new videos every day talking about different decks and such.